Hi, crafters. Good to see you. We're getting started a little bit early. So I thought I would come on and just chit chat a little bit as we're getting prepared. We're not going to start here for just a couple more minutes, but I know some of you like to start a little bit early. Some of you come a little late. Never.
Some of you don't come at all.
Some of you don't even come at all, but we're glad to have you tonight. It's Tom and Julie Creek again, back here for our Tuesday night edition of the Creek Bank Creations. What are we calling this? We need to name this thing.
It's YouTube
Live. How about live with Tom and Julie?
I forgot to turn off the volume on my phone too. It's not good.
Live with Tom and Julie. You want to call it that? That's kind of has.
You got 8 people watching now.
Hey! Hi, Diane Morris. Good to see you. Sharon, Yellow Rose of Texas. How are you, Diane? Oh, there's that lucky Diana Makatura. Did you get your gift yet, Diane? Did you get it yet? Well, we're glad.
There's Gail, Mary Ellen.
Glad to have you. I'm going to give you a preview, ladies, since we're getting started, what we're giving away tonight. We're going to give away a tool caddy. If you want a big shot, it'll be great. You see how it sets right on the side of your tool caddy for all your cutting pads and your tools.
You called it a tool caddy.
This is a tool caddy.
Yeah, you said it clips on.
Excuse me. All right, I said it clipped onto your tool caddy. This is the tool caddy that clips on to your big shot. This will not work with the electric big shot. This will not work with the Vagabond, but it works perfectly with the big shot. We're going to give this away tonight. And I've also got a Sizzix 3D embossing folder. That's right. It's the 3D Textures Fade. What do they call this? They call this. They have a name for it. It's called Roses. Roses are red.
How does Sizzix recommend that you use that?
This is used in your die cutting machine, ladies. This is, and crafters, not just ladies, all you crafters out there. Instead of a die, when you run it through your die cut machine, you want to hand me that one over there, honey?
Yeah.
This is another one. You see it sandwiches. Just sandwich your paper in there. Run it through, and then when it embosses, it actually engraves or changes the whole shape of your paper. However, when you do that, you want to gently mist it. Hi, Deb. Good to hear from you. You want to gently mist your paper with a light mist of water with our
baby blue
sprayer. My breath smells good now, honey.
No,
anyway,
it doesn't.
You just mist. See that mist? Can you see the mist? Mist. It's everywhere. It's raining in here.
I promise you, his breath does not smell good. In fact, he smells terrible.
What does it smell like?
Tell the ladies why you smell terrible.
Ladies, you know you got to keep that crafters, you got to keep that 6 foot distancing.
Just be thankful we're not doing trade shows, because if you were near him, you'd be like.
Well, guess what? I got the remedy for it all. It's right here. A couple of cloves of raw garlic, a couple in the morning, a couple in the afternoon, a couple in the evening with your meal.
Packages
of raw garlic. That's right, the raw stuff. Not only can you keep your distancing very easy, because nobody wants to be around you. It works great. Plus, it enhances your immune system. So there you go. So anyway, back to the mister. You mist your paper just lightly, and then sandwich it in there, run it through your die cut machine, and you're all set to go. So we're giving away the roses. Put that up here where you can see it, from Sizzix tonight as well. So we've got a lot of great prizes.
Did you say 3 times? I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
Did you say 3 times?
3 times what?
When you run it through, you're running it through 3 times.
No, I did not.
Yes, 3 times.
Mrs. Creek said that when you run this embossing through, you need to run it through 3 times.
Why are we misting?
3. We're misting it because we're trying to, basically, we're causing the fibers to stretch instead of break. And by misting the paper, it stretches the paper fibers. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The deer hunter is learning.
There you go. All right, ladies. With that, I am going to give it away to Julie, and we're going to have some fun tonight. Julie, let's go.
All right. Hey, so last week, at the end of the week, we had people contact us and
ask us to work on some Easter cards. So we're going to work on Easter cards tonight. We're going to talk about Easter stuff that we have. And then Thursday night, we're going to talk about adhesive. I had customer email me sometime over the weekend with a bunch of adhesive questions. And basically the questions were like, what was that you said? So I said, let's do Thursday night when we do our live, we're just going to do a huge tape talk. So you can come and hang with us Thursday, and I'm going to teach you some tricks and tips. There are many, many things that you can do with our super tacky tape. And I know that you guys are getting parts and pieces of it when you come to a show, because honestly, I could do probably a 2-hour class on tape tricks. And at a show, when I get to talk to you, we're talking for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and you're not getting the full meal deal. So we're going to do that on Thursday. We're going to go over super tacky tape. And part of what we're doing here is getting the opportunity to sit and visit with you guys and educate you in a way that we don't normally get to. So we will try to cover not just new products, although we are going to talk about new products, but also the products that you already own, and hopefully you'll be like, whoa, that's cool, I can do that. And our goal is always to get you to learn something new, and then you get to put it into practice. So I have some really cool things to share with you tonight as far as the crafty stuff goes, but I wanted to get started tonight and talk to you about anxiety, because we are all in anxiety-ridden times, and the last 2 days I have been very anxiety-ridden. So it's just a lot. There's a lot to deal with. So been trying to use all of the skills that I know and have to deal with my anxiety. And tonight on the way to the shop, I was reminded about the river. And out around our property is the river, which would be the Wabash River. And the Wabash River, last spring, actually every spring, the Wabash River overflows its banks big time. So how many acres, Tom, when that floods, how many acres do you think that's covering?
About 3,000. The whole river bottom is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean it that way, but anyway, it's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. So the property kind of like across the road from our house, actually it is across the road from our house, floods really bad. And every year, do you think that's 4 acres like the distance from the river to the road, is that 4 acres or?
From our house? No, it's an 80-acre tract.
Okay. So anyway, just trying to get the point. It's a lot of river.
But we're up on the high ground.
Okay. I knew he was going to say that. It's a lot of water. So last year when I'm looking at the water, I felt the Lord speak to me, that's a flood, and life sometimes feels like a flood. And the thing about the flood is, and I know this because I live by the river, the flood comes, and when it comes, it brings a mess. It brings garbage, it brings trash that it floats down the river, it brings whole trees down the river, and they land, they get pushed up in the ground, and then there's just a mess everywhere. And one always wonders, why in the world do those farmers keep farming that ground? They still farm it, like it floods and they're still out tilling and they're still trying to plan on it. And here's what the farmers know. This is really what the Lord spoke to me last year and reminded me about tonight on the way here. The flood always goes away, and the ground always dries. So as bad as the river flood is, and as much destruction as it brings every year, it always goes away. The sun always comes out, and something grows. So this is word of encouragement to you that the Lord, just on the way to here tonight, I looked out the window and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's that river like flooding again. And so that's your encouragement tonight, that the water always goes down, the sun always shines, and there is always dry land again, and something that grows that's awesome. Now here's why the farmer keeps the field and doesn't get rid of the field. when the field gets flooded, the water runs down from upstream and drops all the rich, fertile farm soil in the bottoms.
They get bumper crops.
When they get a crop, it's a bumper crop. It's a good crop. So that's just a little object lesson. That's kind of how the Lord kind of talks to me, is in like word pictures and stuff. And wow, what a great message for us, that the water always goes down, the sun always shines again, and that field may never look the same. Sometimes the literal composition of the field will change because of the soil shifting around, but the farmer still has a good field there and a good crop, and our lives will probably never look the same. This is a thing in our lives that'll probably be something that we talk about forever that happened. But the promise that we have from our Heavenly Father is that we will have dry ground and we will grow a crop again. So this is a word for me tonight too. I needed to be reminded of that. Sometimes at the time when God spoke that to me, I was like, well, okay, that was really cool. And I've shared it with several people over the last year. And then tonight I was like, oh Lord, you sent me that message a year ago because you knew I was going to need it today, this week. So keep hanging in there. And that's our encouragement for you. Find hope, look for hope. If the negative is overwhelming you, then you have to just turn it off. And so that's why if you're overwhelmed, you can get in your craft room and you can think about ink, paint, paper, do some crafty stuff, and get your crafty mojo back. I have received several emails from customers who told me that this has been a great opportunity for them to get their craft room organized and that they've got their craft mojo back. Woohoo! So I hope that's been the case for you too. And let's talk about some Easter cards, shall we? So we have quite a bit of things in the Easter line, and I'm just going to kind of like share with you some cards, and then we're going to do some cards, but in the simplest of terms, looking for my simple stack. We introduced the I'm sorry. This is called the circle flip. The circle flip. Oh gosh, a long time ago. So this is our circle flip card base. It's got the Easter egg die on it, and the round Easter stamp. You can see it's swinging there. This is all explained in a video called Circle Flip Cards number 3 on how to make this. The paper that you're looking at there is our
Where's the video?
New paper pad called Pretty Purple. The video can be found on our YouTube channel. If you ever go to the YouTube channel,
It's called Purple Party.
it's called the. Here's the deal. I have a 1-track mind, and Tom has like a 10-track mind. So Tom's like, and I'm like, so the paper pad is called what, Tom?
Purple Party.
Purple
It's
Party.
right behind
Sorry,
it. You
sorry.
can point to
The
it.
paper pad is called Purple Party.
Right above your left.
The
your right ear.
YouTube,
It's
the
right above your
YouTube
right ear.
channel, go to YouTube and look up Circle Flip Card. This is more of that paper pad with the cell phone die.
Time out. We've got a question about what paper's behind the cross, and it's not a cross. It is the words of Christ.
Where are you at?
We had a question.
Back, you mean this thing back here?
Yeah.
Over.
Well,
We're
hold
gonna.
on here. I think I understand.
We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Sharon asks, Yellow Rose of Texas.
The Yellow
asks,
Rose of Texas.
Are the words behind the cross card a stamp or paper?
We're gonna get there. Yes, the answer is it's a stamp, and we're gonna talk about that tonight. Good question, Sharon. So cell phone die here. This is the cell phone die, and then we just dropped some of the Easter confetti in it. We are out of the Easter confetti, and I'm not restocking it, unfortunately, because who knows when we're going to be, it's not worth our effort to restock at this point. But the cell phone die is cool because you can turn it into a cute little card, and you can make it a shaker box. And all I did was use foam tape on the edge of that. And here's a little secret I'll let you in on. I designed the cell phone die, and in the alphabet set, I added a hashtag because here's the deal. Like, most of us are getting older, and our kids and our grandkids think that we're ancient. But if we make them really cool cards with like hashtags and cell phones, then there might be some hope that they think that we're young and hip and cool, because we were We were at one point. Oh, so cell phone die. So this is the one of the dies from the Trinity die set. When you buy the Trinities, there's 3 dies in there and they layer. And this is just one of the 3, and then we turned it into a shaker card.
Which die was that?
That's the butterfly panel Trinity. So it's actually made to layer, but we used it in a different way. So I just wanted to share with you some really quick cards here. This is the Chocolate Rabbit die, and Chocolate Rabbit has bunnies on it. And we're actually gonna do these bunnies on Thursday night. I'm gonna show you, there's a trick involved on how I made the bunnies. We're gonna do that Thursday night. The cool thing about the Chocolate Rabbit die set, it's got a chocolate rabbit and a bunny, and it's got a little bite mark die. So you can cut the chocolate rabbit, and then you can take the little bite mark and like bite his butt off, which is fun. And your kids will think you're cool and funny if you do that, even if you're not funny. So here's a new card. This is buffalo plaid background. It's got the egg die. Whenever you buy the egg set, there's 3 eggs in that set that we saw earlier, and the cross is in there.
It's right behind your.
So when you buy the egg die set, the cross comes in there, and the cross is sized so you can drop the cross inside the egg. And then this has got spring sprig, this piece back here, that's spring sprig cut in a bunch of different colors. And the Happy Easter sentiment. Do you see how I've layered that up? That's got our tape on the back when I die cut it, and then it looks cushiony. That's a cool one. That buffalo plaid is one of my favorites. So, any questions on that part, Tom? Probably next week we'll work on
The buffalo plaid, you need to tell them that is a stencil, it's not a paper.
the buffalo plaid. In this background is a stencil. It's a new stencil for us. And I just literally took the J brush and swiped the color over it and got that really nice background. This is a really detailed stencil. Took me a lot
Keep it a little bit still.
of effort
There
to
you
get
go.
this design. It is extremely
Hold it-
detailed.
Hold it still. Okay. All right, good. Thank
I
you.
went round and round with the laser people about the amount of detail in this thing. And they kept wanting me to drop it down and make it different. And I wanted all that detail. So it's amazing, beautiful buffalo plaid detail. So next week we will talk about, I'm not sure which one we'll do, Tuesday or Thursday, but we will talk about our new die that we released in late January called the Spiral Pop-Up. I have already released a video on that, and people complained about the video because it's a clear product and I shot it on top of white. So when I shoot it on Tuesday, we'll try again, and we'll shoot it with red and black. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to see better how to actually use that die and understand it better, but it's a fun die. So here's the deal. Here's your card front. This background is called Radiated Triangles. It's a stencil. So I just stenciled that. And then this card's fun because when you open it up, it pops up. So I don't know if you can really see that. That's got our circle piece in it.
Down a little bit low.
Let's close it and open it again. Spiral pop-up. That's just a fun Easter. So there's a whole series of new mini dies that are designed to go inside the spiral pop-up, and Bunny is one of the minis. And when you get the bunnies,
Lay it flat, honey. There you go. Now open it
when you buy the bunnies, it comes with the Easter.
all the way. There you go. Thank you.
It comes with the carrot and the cross. That wreath that you see in there is our wreath die. And the wreath die, you just die cut it and slip it in there. And we'll do that next week. This is fun card. This, so many different things you can do with it. This is a card made by Diane, one of the girls that does work for us. And she used the crosses, used part of the blessing stamp. And the background is the burst stencil. And when you open it up, she's got crosses, and so she used it in a totally different way. Turn it like this. So lots of really cool options that you can do with the pop-up, and we will get to that next week. So we have the last fall, we came out with the Angel Side Circle card base. And the Angel Side Circle starts out like this. And you see how she used the mini bunnies? Those are the mini bunnies. And then that is our grapevine wreath die. That's a new die for us. And grapevine wreath is designed actually to fit specifically in that panel. Here's another version of the wreath. So I sized it just for that purpose. Okay, so this will show you, can you see what that looks like, Tom? Am I getting that sentiment on there?
You should be.
So you don't know.
I'm delayed.
So this is part of the new purple paper pad that's new for spring, Purple Party. And then that's one of our new sentiments for Easter. So this just makes a really nice card, Angel Side Circle. So last year we came out with the card base, Angel Side Circle. To make an Angel Side Circle card, you're gonna cut your base paper yourself. And you cut a piece of paper, and that piece of paper is 4.5 by 9. So you cut your own base paper and you score at 3.5 inches, okay? Then you take the base die and you cut this piece right here, and it's got a score on it, and you set that inside the base. So you have
Deb asked a question about the foil.
this, okay, we'll get there. This is the base, and then Angel Side Circle, you set right inside the base, and so you have these two things going. Now, that gives you the ability to have this really cool matted interior, which just looks amazing, I think. I love it. So when it came out, we released the round words, and they're called circle frames. And we released Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, and Happy Birthday last year. So many of you already own those pieces, so you already own these parts.
Bubble.
So what's new is the Happy Easter, and we've added Happy Easter to that line. And when you buy the Happy Easter frame, I'm looking for the actual die, the little chickie is inside of it. So each one of the pieces has something on the inside. That's okay, Tom, we're good. The Merry Christmas has bells and a bow. Happy Birthday has confetti. Happy Thanksgiving has a pie. And Happy Easter has the chicken.
Wobble the chicken.
Wobble the chicken. That's got the mini action wobble on it. Isn't that fun? And I have the little googly eyes glued on him. You got to glue the eyes on. So this is really nice, fun card, and it is our addition to the Angel Side Circle. So I just wanted to show you the different versions. I did want to show you, Diane did this version, which is she mounted it on a regular flat card and added the bunnies and the grass and the cross, which I thought was really kind of clever. And that one bunny looks like he's looking at the cross. So really, that's a really fun, a fun way to do it. So that's Angel Side Circle. I'm going to put this one together for you tonight. I want to show you how to build that one. And, but I want to show you, let's go, and I'm going to show you the cross, because I need to turn the camera down to do that other work. So let's do cross first. Originally, we were going to do outline letters tonight, and I don't think I'm going to do them. I'm thinking I'm going to go a different direction. So I am going to talk about it real quick before we go on. Outline letters. So outline letters are cool because when you die cut them, you can cut them and layer them. So what I've done here is cut the 2 layers in 2 different colors. And then you can layer them one into the other. So I'm going to pull these out and show them to you. So when you cut, so what I did, I cut one in a solid, and one in a plaid. Okay, when I cut them, I have my super tacky tape on the back. So I'm going to unroll the tape. I'm going to put my paper down in the tape and I'm going to run it through the die cut machine. Then when it comes out of the die cut machine, I want you to see the detail in that letter. I can literally pull that apart and I have 2 pieces and I can literally inlay one into the other. So I know a lot of you guys have the alphabet set. I'll show you this. I'm upside down. You have it. Look at that. You can inlay one into the other. So we'll talk more about this on Thursday because, you know, when we team this up, tape with undo, in fact, we might just work on this card on Thursday. That's a whole nother game changer. And you can
Back.
see here
There you go.
that it just makes a really, really adorable little card fast. And if you cut the letters in plaid and you cut the letters in a solid, then you have this version. But then if you keep the pieces, you have a whole nother card because you can change them out and do solid plaid, plaid solid. Fun, 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 fun. That's a fun card. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the cross. So the Love Cross die, when you buy it in the package, looks like this. And it is designed for you to cut a panel for a card front. So I think it's 4.25 by 5. It's pretty large. And I really wanted, in the simplest of terms, to make a simple card for Easter that really got the message of the meaning of Easter across. I like candy and chocolate bunnies, but I really wanted to get the true meaning of Easter here. So I really wanted something really simple, and you can die cut it, and when you die cut it, all those pieces are gonna fall out, and then you can just adhere it to another card. This is cut with the foil paper. Did Sharon have a question about foil? Did you? I ignored
Sharon
you.
didn't. Deb Cronkite had
Yeah.
a question about the foil.
What was the question?
She just said she'd like to learn more about the foil at some point.
Okay, foil and tape, I'm assuming that she means.
That's what I assumed she
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah, I have a really cool trick we could do. We'll have to see if we can work that in maybe next week too. Tape and foil and the embossing folders, it looks amazing. So we'll try to get to that too. So you guys, when you ask questions, this is good because it gives us more things to work on down the road. Okay, so the Love Cross can be used in a ton of different ways. And if you'll notice here, this is our new love ya sentiment word. And it's actually love ya, Y-A, and it has a mat behind it. So you have the base and then you have the mat. I sized the word love to fit right in that space of the cross. So if you want to add the word love to it, you can. What's really fun about this is that you can make this into a get well card. This is the happy anniversary card that I made. And this is it's got the spring sprig on it. See the little sprigs? And the tea rose flower with the oval stand-up banner, and the happy anniversary sentiment comes from oval stand-up. So you see how you could put get well on here. Congratulations. You could change this up and do a ton of different stuff with it. So the other thing that's cool is once those pieces come out, those hearts and stuff, you can also reuse those. So the question that Sharon had, which is a fantastic question, is that background paper or a stamp? So this is the, explain this real quick. This card is made, this is another really simple card. It is made with the wonky stitched panel die. Do I have that here? Wonky stitched panel die, okay? So the background, this is the wonky stitched panel die. This is designed, it's got 2 layered butterflies in it that are really super cute. So that's what these little buttons, the butterflies came right off that panel. And if you look close, let me see if I can get this close for you. Do you see the detail of the stitching? So it's gonna cut that panel size for you, and it's gonna cut that little stitch. You can turn this into a frame. If you drop a rectangle in there, then you can actually cut it as a frame, but it's going to cut a solid piece. And so that's what I've done here is cut that solid piece. And then I added the butterflies and stamped on top of it. So what I have is the new stamp called the Names of Christ. And this one I've used, and it's going to be hard to read, but it has on it the names of Christ. Is that clever or what? Names. Here's one that you can actually see better. Names of Christ, 4x6 background stamp. So when you look at the cross in that background there, that's actually got in the background the names of Christ. And what's kind of cool is the words that came. I didn't plan it this way, but the words that are in the heart are kind of cool. Son of God, King of Ages, Eternal, Wonderful. So that's a fun stamp. And
that's the same stamp you used the butterfly.
It is the same stamp that I used here. Just different way to do it. The local girls that live close here have a little, a group that does Bible journaling, and they made this. They just stamped the background, and then we die cut the top piece, and they used it for a Bible journaling tip-in. So they put it in their Bible, and then they taped it in with washi tape to make a tip-in for Bible journaling. And if you wanted to do a really nice little Bible journaling lesson, you could, I have a printout. You could email me. I'll give it to you. A PDF that I found, someone else compiled the names of Christ and then scriptures that went with the names of Christ, which is a really cool little, excuse me, Bible journaling lesson. So when we did that, Anita Foltz actually taught the class. I just hosted it. We gave them paper and we let them stamp the background stamp, and we let them cut the thing, and then we taped it in and we talked about the names of Christ. So that's a great little tip for you. Now, I want to share with you a tip because this card, one of our customers made for us, and when she made it for me, it already has been destroyed. I'll show you this. Do you see that right there? It's already broken. That was a bummer. So I'm going to show you how to cure that problem and talk about how to build a really nice base for this, because those are really detailed pieces in the inside. You could easily, if you wanted to, turn this into a shaker card, like if you put a window behind it. I don't know if I want to, but you could anyway. So what I want to teach you is how to do the background of the card. Show you where we're going. And I really just like the simplicity of this card. And all I did was cut that, and then that's just on a basic white base. And I have that Easter stamp with that nice sentiment that I would put on the inside, which would be this Easter sentiment will easily fit on the inside if you need a sentiment. Okay, so any questions, Tom? How are we doing over there?
Deb commented on the really technical term used.
Yes.
Wonky.
Wonky, yeah. I worked hard on that one. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera down and show you how I did the background of. I'm going to show you a little trick with this stuff. Nothing complex, but I'll just share with you the tips. And then when we get done with this card, I think Mr. Creek's got some stuff to give away.
Yes. Rotate your camera.
Okay, got to rotate the right way. So hang with me because I got to remember how to do this. You know, Tom and I are not techie people. We're learning to be techie people. Okay, we're going down, baby.
Down and rotate it towards you.
Oh, this is not good.
Very good.
Are we there? Are we showing all grid, or what are we showing?
Just put it in your marker, and then you go to the middle of your grid like you did last time.
Are we there?
I assume. I hope we are, because I can't.
Can you
see
guys
it.
tell Tom how we look? Here, let me put a card up there. There. How do we look? Can you see what I'm doing? Thomas?
Not yet. I'm waiting.
Any feedback from the customers?
Everybody says good.
Okay. All right. I'm getting a little bit of a shadow.
Card is a little bit too low, which means you need to raise it.
Card is too low up there.
How about
Okay.
that?
How's that? When you get a chance, Tom, you might flip that light on over there. Ladies, how we looking? Can you let Tom know how we're looking? I don't want to get going and then you be lost. Do we know how we look, Tom?
I just lost my whole.
Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is die cut that panel.
Perfect.
For
It's perfect.
good. I'm so glad to hear that. I showed you the egg card, but we're gonna do this card. Okay, I want to show you how to set that panel up. So when you open this, you're gonna see you've got this really large die, and what we want to do is die cut that on some paper. So most of us are just going to get a piece of paper. We're going to run that through the die cut machine. We're going to die cut. Here's what I want to show you. Because of all of the detail that are on the inside of that piece, I want you to cut your paper about 1/4 of an inch wider all the way around. And then we're going to take our super tacky tape. You knew this was coming, didn't you? We're going to take our tape and we're going to lay our paper down in the tape and push it down. And then we're going to trim it out. Because what we need is a little bit more stability in our project. So we're going to trim that out. And I always trim off all those edges because we do not want those edges being run through the plate of our die cut machine. If we do, it'll ruin the machine. Well, it won't ruin it, but you'll have sticky mess to clean up and they'll be screaming and you'll probably be having my name in the screaming, which will not be good. It's a little piece of tape right there. Okay, now we're going to push that all down really well. And then we're going to peel up the liner. And we're going to add our second piece of paper right on top. Now, we're going to put that in the die cut machine and die cut. So one of the things I wanted to show you tonight was, or talk to you about, was when you have a die this large, and I am going to cut that tape. I got a little tape edge here. When you have a die that has this large edge on it, and you're running it through your die cut machine, when you put that in your die cut machine straight like this and cut it, you kind of you'll hear your machine kind of clunk and sometimes really make a lot of noise on you. And what I wanted to encourage you is when you go to run that through your die cut machine, if this is your plate and you're running it through, and I can't get the camera over there without moving the camera all over, and I don't want to do that to you guys, but if I run it through like this, the roller is going to come across and it's going to hit that straight on, and that's hard on your dies, it's hard on your machine, it's hard on everything. So when you do this, anytime you have a larger die like this, anytime you can crank it off at an angle, then when the die and the paper hit the roller, they're hitting it at an angle. So you'll get a cleaner cut out of it, and it's a lot easier on your die cut machine. The other thing that we should talk about here is this particular stack that I'm die cutting with is, these plates look horrible, they need replaced, is my favorite stack. So what I have is the base is the magnetic platform. The next piece is the precision base plate. And then I have one clear. Now, this is the stack that Sizzix tells you to use for detailed die cutting. And I'll tell you, I use it all the time, every day, because it's the tightest stack there is. And you just get an amazing clean cut out of it. Now, this is my plate that I've had for maybe 2 years. And most of the marks and stuff that you see on it are actually adhesive junk that I've got on it. And if I want to clean my plate, I just dump a bunch of undo on it and wipe that. So you can see I don't have any wear in this plate at all. And now I'm only replacing one clear plate. So
Did you tell them that was called the Chrome Precision Base Plate?
Chrome, I think I did. Chrome Precision Base Plate. So I'm going to cut this and we'll die cut it. And we're cutting with the Vagabond. And if you have a Big Shot, you'll want to run several passes because we added tape and paper, and that's a lot going on. So you might have to run it through a few times with the Vagabond. We can get away with one pass, which is why we love the Vagabond. Now, this die has an ejection hole right up here in the corner, which is designed so that you can literally just pop that right out. Okay, then we can go back in and pop out all those pieces, and then we have that beautiful cross design. If you are crazy and save those pieces, you can actually put them back together and make a card out of them. And because I am crazy, I did that. I don't know where it's at. Oh, this right here. This is the pieces that I all punch. It's the outtake.
It's the intake.
Yeah, but let me tell you, this might have involved some frustration. I wouldn't. I did use I actually used the die as a template. You're right, but it was still a rather complex little project. So do you see how when I do that with that, using that extra layer and that tape, it just stabilizes everything. So you don't have to worry about it getting tore up. So these are beautiful cards. You don't want to get them, getting destroyed because of that paper being so fragile.
Sharon had a good idea.
Yes, Sharon, bring it on.
Cut a piece of paper and use it as your template.
Yes, you could do that. And we all have scraps, don't we? Okay, so I'm gonna ink up my background. So for my background, I just cut my piece of paper and I'm gonna just add a little ink to it. And we're gonna use the great blue here. Fiesta. And when I do this, I really wanted I wanted a like really soft background. So picked a nice pastel color there. And when you do this, I want to get rid of most of the ink. So I'm coming over here and I'm actually dabbing off most of the ink and dragging my brush across because I just want to build up the background color and I just wanted a really light color. So I'm working with the J brush, and this is our brush that we're using that we designed to move and blend ink, and has a really nice large head, and you can see how I can really just get in there and build a background. And I'm always starting off on the grid and pulling down onto the paper. And we did add the Catherine Pooler ink to the website today. So all of the inks that we have in stock are on the website. I just kind of like to top it off, just going the other way, just to add a layer.
Don't forget to tell them that they can use the discount.
That's right. You can use the discount and get 20% off. It'll be the only time we sell the Catherine Pooler inks like that. So that's the blue that we're using there. And do you see how we just added a nice little contrast to that? Now we're going to take our stamp board. We're using the Misty stamp board. Going to open this up. And I'm actually going to, I'm going to tape this in because this stamp is so large, it covers almost the whole entire piece. So we're gonna tape it in. Tom, can they see what I'm doing?
They could earlier.
So you guys all have to holler at Tom if you can't see, because I cannot see what I'm doing. I don't have a picture of what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my stamp. I'm going to lay that on top. Shut the door. And I'm using the Midnight from the Catherine Pooler ink. We need at least one magnet in there. We're going to put some magnets in there to stabilize. I'm using the Midnight ink from Catherine Pooler. It is the only ink in the set that is archival. It's archival ink, so it will stain your stamps, but when you stamp it, it is permanent, which means now you can watercolor over the top of it and use your chameleons or Copics with it, blend with alcohol ink. So we're just going to push that down. Now I use black here because I really wanted a dark contrast, but honestly, it looks really good if you use it in with a light gray or a brown too. You can kind of decide what you want to do. So you're going to probably be able to use this background stamp for a lot of different things. It's meant to just be a background. It's not meant to be the star of the show. So there's our background. Hello. There's our background. Okay. And now we have the perfect match to go in and set right on top of our card. And we have the names of Christ. So that is how we make the names of Christ stamp. Any questions, Thomas, Edwin?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you ready to give something away?
Yes.
Okay. Are you typing the giveaway?
Hold on. Just commenting back.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. You want me to come over there?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull. Do you start pull the camera up?
Yes.
Pull the camera up. Hello. Okay. I about fell on you. That would have been hilarious.
Okay, crafters. Some of you who tuned in early, I was talking about this. This is the Sizzix Tool Caddy. Now, I originally said that this thing only fit on the Sizzix Big Shot, but looking at the box, it works on the Big Shot as well as the Big Shot Express. That's the electric Big Shot, and it also works on the Fabry, the Fabby, whatever the Fabby is. You know what the Fabby is?
It's an older.
It's an older version. I'll show a picture there. These are the 3 machines it works on. This is a $25 gift we're giving away tonight. Whoever can tell me, you know I'm a gardener, whoever can tell me how many okra plants I have sprouted will win.
You have to.
This.
You have to tell them all that you started your vegetable
Oh.
seeds because they may not know.
For those of you who don't know, I've already started my vegetable seeds inside, trying to sprout the plants, get a head start this year. And so I've started okra plants so I can just transplant them and have an earlier okra crop. So we've had one guess from the Yellow Rose at 16. Sorry, Sharon, you're not correct. Ladies, keep guessing for the Big Shot Tool Caddy from Sizzix. 22. I don't see it yet. I love all the guesses. Keep
26.
keep coming in. Keep coming in. Nobody's hit it yet. I don't see it yet. Gosh, you crafters can't type fast enough. I tell you what. Do you see it on there yet, Julie? I'm looking.
You need to trade places with me.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to trade places with Julie. Keep guessing. Nobody's got it, crafters.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the angel side circle little guy. And what I wanted to show you was how I actually put together the grass. And I'm not going to do the whole card, but I did want to show you the grass because that's kind of a fun little thing. We have several dies that are, they're called edges dies. And there's like mountains and water, and then there's grass and, I got them mixed up. They're called edges on the website. I think it's mountains and grass, water. I'm failing here, but there are several of them. There's one that has a farm on it with a little fence, and it's got a little cow on it. So we have a whole series of edges, and we have a brand new one, and I think it's on the website. That's actually a Christmas release, but it's really cool too. So edges. So I want to show you how I put edges, how I did this edges on this piece, because there is a little bit of a trick to it. So when you do this, you cut, I'm gonna turn the camera
How come it's not
down.
saying anything? When I hit my comments, it's not.
I see you said less than 40.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just hope that the okra dies.
No.
Because have you ever ate okra? Really? Yeah. So he'll be eating okra on his eggs. It will be okra fest.
Okra chips.
Okra chip dehydrated. One time he dehydrated all these okra. Did you slice them? How did you do that?
You slice them long ways.
He slices them long ways and he puts garlic on them.
Garlic and onion powder.
Garlic and onion powder. And he has like, how many food dehydrators do you have? 3 food
I
dehydrators?
think so, yes, I had 2. I gave one away.
And so the whole house smelled like garlic and onion for weeks because he was making these garlic chips. So One day he starts eating these. I don't eat the garlic chips, by the way. He starts eating these garlic chips and he eats garlic chips all day. And then later in the day, he comes in the house and he's like, I don't, I don't feel so good. All of the garlic chips rehydrated in my stomach. So we'll be having
I
garlic.
didn't either.
Yes, you did.
We
You
still don't have a winner.
yeah, we still don't have a winner. Okay, I'm going down. Y'all keep guessing and just be thankful that you're not living in the garlic dehydrated chip house. Okay, we're going down. I need to know how we look. How are we doing? Can we see anything? Tom, do you have a response for me?
I don't know.
No. Okay, so what you're going to do is take the landscape, the grass, and cut one in two. You want two different colors of green. You can just kind of go through your scraps, is what I did, and pick two colors of green that you like, and die cut those. And then I came back in with the Easter stamp that says "Hand over the chocolate, no one gets hurt." And this is the Happy Easter stamp. It also has enjoy the peep show. Please enjoy the peep show. Sending, and then the Easter blessings. So you can use them together or you can mix them up. Somebody loves you. So this goes really well if you don't want to do like the religious type card and you want to do a fun peep thing. This goes really well for that. But I stamped in there, hand over the chocolate, no one gets hurt. So we have our two little pieces there, right there. So what we're going to do is take this, we're going to peel the back of it off, and we're going to set the one with the stamped image right on top of the other one. And I like to kind of offset it a little bit so the grass blades are kind of sticking up. There we go, stick it down. And then we're going to take our die, show you this. And we're gonna put the die over the top of it. And we've cut I cut the
Bridget Butner is our winner. Bridget
Bridget is our
Butner.
winner chicken dinner. Okay, so I'm gonna lay the die over the top of this, and I'm going to run it through the die cut machine. So I've cut the Happy Easter in purple. And what I'm doing is cutting that grass so it'll fit exactly in that bezel. So stack it up, run it through your die cut machine. And this is another instance where having the Vagabond that really cuts through all those layers works really well. If you have a manual machine, you're probably going to have to run it through a few times.
If you still coming in, tell Bridget Butner to private message you.
Hey, Bridget, can you...
You need to announce that we have a winner.
Bridget, we have a winner.
Bridget Butner.
Bridget won. So Bridget, if you can private message us your address, we will get that shipped out to you. You lucky girl, you. So now we can go back in and drop that on our circle. And I cut the circle on the white. Take the die, cut it in white. I do have the super tacky tape on the back of it, and we're going to adhere it. Now, what we've missed in this also that I wanted to share with you is I've scratched up the back of, this has got our super tacky tape on it, so it's a sticker. So if I want to put this on my work surface and do stencil work with it, then I want to tape it down. This is the way I like to do things. But if you tape it down and it's got my super tacky tape on the back of it, it slides all over the place. So I've used my sanding stick and I've gone in and I've roughed up the surface of the back of that tape so that I've taken that slick edge off the tape. Then when I go to set that down, I can secure that to the background and I don't have to worry about that sliding all over the place. Now, if you look at the background here, you can see that I have some really soft clouds back there in the background, and I wanted to show you how I do that. So I'm going to take the cloud stencil, and I put some purple stencil tape on the bottom because it helps to secure it, and I'm kind of a wild child when it comes to ink, and if I overshoot, I'm going to have a bunch of stuff down here that I don't want to see. So put some tape on that bottom edge, and I'm using the smaller clouds on this set. You could use the larger clouds, but we're doing small clouds. So I'm literally going in there and just adding a wisp of color. And if you'll notice, I am barely pushing on the brush, just really, really light brush strokes.
I made a mistake. It wasn't Bridget, it was Cindy A.
Cindy A.
The judges.
Is Tom being corrected by the women?
No, I did.
This
I
is
double-checked
a,
myself.
okay, all right.
Double check myself. Whoops.
Can they hear you? Tom is correcting himself. Can you guys hear that? Evidently somebody else was first before
Somebody
Bridget.
else was first. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Now Bridget's gonna leave you.
Bridget's gonna be upset. Hang on here. I gotta find it.
Bridget has been a customer for a very long time. Okay.
Hold it. Oh my gosh.
Tom's having his own little party over there. Now, I've got my nice little background going in there, and I'm going to go back in and just add a little blue ink in there just to soften out the white. Just a little bit. Now, I have almost no ink on this brush, and that is really what we want. We don't want a lot of ink on that brush. There's our background, and now when we go back, we can drop our grass in there. And I cut that kind of crooked. You want to do better at getting it straight. And then drop the chickadee right on top. And we've attached that with the mini action wobble. Have you got something else to give away, Thomas Edwin?
I do, but there's so many numbers in here. Hold on here. I'm still looking. Keep working on your card.
My card is done, baby. I
Yeah,
am all
do have
done. I'm
something
coming
to
up,
go on.
ladies. Here we go.
Do you know how many people guessed? I mean, it was like.
Okay.
That's a
Do you
lot.
have a second thing to give away, or?
I do.
Okay.
I've got this
So
embossing
Tom has
folder.
the embossing folder to give away, the 3D embossing folder. If you missed us talking about this earlier, we talked about the 3D embossing folder, and we do want to give a big shout out to Sizzix, who donated things for us to give away. And it was very generous of them because we did not ask. They
I'm
offered.
still looking at all the numbers.
Tom is still trying to figure out what he's doing over on the other.
No, don't tell me what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. It's just that I got all these numbers here.
So 3D embossing folder. This is an extra deep embossing folder. So when you put it in your machine, you need to change out your plates and your configuration. If you're cutting with a magnetic plate, you need to take the magnetic plate out and go back in with a standard plate, and you need to drop one of your clears off. So no, just get rid of one of your clears. And then when you use this, it's extra thick. So if you don't own a Sizzix machine, I do not know what your configuration is going to be.
The timeout, Bridget didn't win. It was Cindy A won.
Cindy
Cindy
A is the
I missed
winner.
it. Cindy A.
Okay, so
Sorry.
okay,
The executive report was
So,
Cindy A.
you want to put your paper in here, mist the paper with water, and run it through 3 times. That will give you a fiber that bends instead of breaking. And the 3D folders have an amazing amount of detail and texture in them. They're really beautiful. And if you want to get really creative with this whole thing, take the J brush, drag some ink inside the stencil, spray it with a little bit of water, and then run it through the embossing machine. And the patterns and designs are really amazing. So maybe we should do that sometime too. Mr. Creek, do you have something else to give away?
Yes, hold on here. Okay, yes.
Cindy A. So Cindy, if you can private message us through Facebook,
Cindy
and
A.
we will, Cindy A.
Apologize to Bridget.
And Bridget,
Bertner. I'm sorry. I missed Cindy A.
Yes, you know, is that because the thing is lagging or
No, there was
too many of them? Okay, do you have something
else?
else to give away, Mr.
Yes,
Creek?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Okay, yes. How many beefsteak tomato plants do I have sprouted? And that's between between 1 and 3.
How many beefsteak tomato plants does Tom have sprouted is the question for the contest. So how many varieties of tomatoes are you doing? Bridget. Now Bridget's crying.
That'll be another question.
Oh, and why are we growing beefsteaks?
Because
Are you looking? Here comes the numbers. You better pay attention. So Tom's planning, I think beefsteaks are for slicing and Romas are for canning. He thinks I'm going to can. Talk to us in August if that happens. And Diana said 0. I'm with Diana. You know, there is something to be said for fresh sliced tomatoes. And I will tell you that the guests at River Retreat House are very happy women when we have plenty of tomatoes because Tom shares them with the guests at River Retreat House. And last year they were disappointed because we did not have very many tomatoes. Too much wet ground, too much rain in the spring last year. Tom had issues with getting the garden in between our show schedule and the rain. It did not work out very well. How many?
Nowhere yet.
No, come on, seriously?
Did you tell him the range?
Between, what'd you say?
I said between 1 and 20.
Between 1 and 20, he's saying. He's lowering the number now. That's just God being gracious to me. Because we'll have tomatoes everywhere. Tomatoes everywhere. Surely, when my dad planted 50, oh my gosh. Did they all 50 grow? That's the problem. Did they weed all 50? Tom just plants and then
Oh, baloney.
he-
Baloney. I used the black caustic.
He
Hold
doesn't.
it. Michelle Parrish was the winner. Michelle Parrish. Michelle Parrish. Michelle Parrish. Would you
Michelle Parrish. Michelle, do you want the embossing folder? Would you let us know if you want the embossing folder?
Why would she not want the embossing folder?
They're still guessing. What was the number?
12.
Yeah. So, Michelle, if you'll private message me your address, we will send you this embossing folder. You can emboss away. And so coupon code is Sunshine, SUNSHINE, Sunshine. And the 20% off sale is running until April the 17th. So would love to have you pick up some things that you want. And sauce and ketchup. Yeah, that Tom will be off after me for all that. And then he'll be on the salsa, chili, da-da-da-da-da. So we will regroup and see you next Tuesday.
I thought you were going to do a second card.
I did 2 cards.
You
I showed
did?
him how to do, yes.
Oh,
When you
okay.
were fighting the number system, I was dealing with that. We will see you next Tuesday and then we'll meet again on Thursday. If you have suggestions of things you want to see, then feel free to message me on Facebook and we will conquer issues, have some fun. And until we meet next time, keep the faith, hang in there, keep your chin up. Remember, the water always goes down. So check us out on the website, www.creekbankcreations.com.